What's up, y'all? It is the General Damage Podcast, and if it's me announcing, you know what episode number it is. It is episode 72, means it's the 9th episode, which means I get to do it. It's me, Will! I'm back from my trips, and God, I'm fucking tired.
He's back from doing Will shit.
He's doing his trips, he's on the trip train.
Yeah, I'm back from all my trips to kind of take a bit of a break to, towards the end of the month, go on another trip. God, I am glad to be home for more than just a week. Or I think I calculated it down. It was home for, I think, all of 2 weeks in the month of July.
Jeez.
Yeah. I'm glad to just kind of be home. It feels good. I'm also not, I don't feel like I'm dying because I'm so exhausted from just kind of here's trip, take 2 days to do laundry, third day you can kind of rest for half a second, load up, go on trip. It just felt like such a bombardment.
No, I get that.
I will say, I'm just to knock on wood, I'm impressed that I didn't get sick.
Yeah.
Because
if you went on an airplane, you probably have more of a chance.
On one of the trips, I did go on an airplane, and was thankful that I did not catch any bug whatsoever, and clearly my body was good enough to not get sick from exhaustion, in a sense.
Yeah. Going to PAX as many times as I've gone to PAX, I'm surprised, again, knock on wood for me, but I've never actually gotten sick, because I've never gotten a quote the PAX pox.
You are lucky.
From either the airplane or the con.
Yeah.
So.
Man, you was one lucky sumbitch. I have gotten sick a number of times after
What, from PAX?
After PAX, yeah.
Oh wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's like you just kind of you pick up one bug. All it takes is I have the sniffles a little bit. That shouldn't be anything. And then 2-3 days later, after you've gotten home, you're like, everything is miserable. I need 6 tissue boxes and 2 jugs of orange juice. I'm dying.
Yeah, for me, it's not. After a con, at least, and even I felt it after we went to the cabin.
Yeah,
it's more man, can I get another day just to sleep?
Yeah,
and sleep in and not do anything? Because
I feel you on that, mate. I know that all too well.
It really sucks right now. It's just I've been trying to get up and get on my bike, and I have been failing so miserably. Because it's I get up and my alarm gets up, and I'm okay, I'm going to go on my bike, and I blink, and it's 7:45.
Yeah.
It's that's not why I want it. I don't know. I need to work out, goddammit.
Yeah. No, I feel you, man. It is fucking frustrating when, you're just so exhausted and you don't want to do anything. Yeah. So, yeah, especially when I'm at work and I'm sitting at my desk and it's I feel myself nodding off, and I'm in that weird zone of I'm asleep but also awake. Mm-hmm.
I hate that.
Oh yeah, it's a shitty feeling.
Yeah, and I don't want to keep going to fucking Starbucks to get caffeine boost and wake the hell up.
Yep. I know what you mean. I'm kind of glad that I haven't had. I will say that's one thing. I'm glad I haven't had an energy drink in 3 or 4 days now. 3 days now. No, 4 days now. Yeah. Not going, well, I need one of these because I know I'm going on another trip in a day, so I need to make sure I have 2 so I can live. I'm glad I don't need that. Ugh.
Yeah, that's... Yeah, I don't need that shit either.
Yep.
And I'm feeling... I don't like... I don't like feeling tired for no real reason.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I don't like feeling tired. I don't like yawning, and it's the same feeling I get when I'm at work or when I was at school and I didn't want to be there.
Mm.
And I hate it because there's this frustrating thing. It's like, oh, I could have gotten rid of it somehow. I know I can get rid of it if I'm doing something else.
Yeah.
One of the things doing something else entails is playing games, but because then my mind's a bit more focused.
Right.
Because like at work right now, all I'm doing is like, okay, print.
Something requires half a brain to do the job.
Not even. And then it's just like, okay, hurry up and wait.
Right.
You know, and because then I have to wait for the printer to print the 200 pages of this book. And yeah. All for something I might get yelled at next week for because it's not done. It's like, you weren't fucking here to help finish it.
That's the irritating portion.
I didn't say that at all.
No, not at all. Not one bit.
No. It's like, yes, you are like 10% of why this isn't done.
Yeah.
The other 10% is because this other person didn't do what they need to do. I've done everything I'm supposed to do. I've done it all. But no, I'm the one that's blamed because 2 people won't pick up the goddamn slack.
Oh yeah, because it would be expecting much of people to like help out in some capacity.
Well, right? Well, one of these people I've snapped at twice.
Ooh, all right.
I think I've told you about it.
Yeah. Same person?
Yeah.
Oh wow.
I'm waiting on that person that I snapped at to finish what they need to do, and then I'm waiting on the owner to do what they need to do. And the owner is like doing some last hurrah with their kids before they go back to school. Yeah. And when they come back, it's going to be fire and brimstone, which, you know, you could touch all you want because you won't really get burned.
Mm.
It's all bark, I should say.
Yeah.
Not to mention, it's like where I grew up and the high school I went to. You're really not going to scare me,
for sure.
You know, and that's not like an ego thing. It's just like you're not really going to scare me.
Yeah.
Much. It's just that shit doesn't work.
People should come to realize at this point in time that as functioning human beings, intimidation is not the best motivator.
It's not such they're trying to do it on purpose.
Yeah.
It's just that's how it comes out because they're panicking because things have to get done, and then they're wondering why they weren't getting done because you haven't been here in 2.5 weeks.
Yeah.
So, like, that's why shit hasn't gotten done. You know, and then you're shipping all the other work onto someone else. It's bullshit.
Yeah.
So, that's what I have to face. And it just sucks when you're like, I don't care. You know, that's the noise I make at work.
The fabled yawn.
Yeah.
Yep. The yawn, the shrug, and like, what are you gonna do? Like...
Well, it's also that really tired feeling where you're not, it's this tired feeling where I feel boxed in. And when I step outside and I do the stretch and like it's like that stretch just kind of wakes you up and you feel everything pop in your body and you're like, oh god, I'm awake.
Yeah.
Oh man, I can't wait. Oh great, I can't wait till I go home and I can draw or play video games or watch some TV. Ah shit, it's only 10:30. I'm not going to go home for another, 5 hours? Fuck this.
You know, that's why...
That's what I have to contend to.
That's why I'm happy I work where I work.
Why is that?
Because it's constantly craziness. Also, I work night shifts now, so super busy when I get in.
Ooh.
There's not a lot of time to think. You just do.
Yeah.
And then the next thing you know, they're telling you, close the lights, turn off the lights, close the door... And then I can finally do my actual job.
Yeah. I would like to be crazy busy.
Yeah.
If it was monotonous. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Either it's crazy busy, monotonous, or it's crazy busy. This is what I want to do, whether it be creative or the podcast, or I'm doing what my degree is or my wheelhouse of the degree. You know what I'm talking about? If I had that aspect, it'd be cool.
Oh yeah, but that's because
and
you're
also
motivated
if I lost
to
like
do
60 pounds.
That's because you're motivated to do the work because it's something you believe in.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Or I'm motivated to do the work because the work needs to be done and I don't have to think.
Yeah.
I like that. I like it when I know, like, someone can show me what to do and it's like, oh, A goes into B, B goes into C. Okay, cool. And then I can just do it.
Yeah.
That's if for monotony of jobs, that's like my preferred style. It's A, B, C, boom, done, keep going. We need like 100 of them. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
I'm your man. Like, I can do the mindless. Don't ask me to, like, don't quiz me on it later because I don't know what I did. Which is with what this job likes to do. It's like, you know what this is, right? I'm like, you know what the truth? It's actually just white noise. It really is. You know how this, this does this and how we analyze it, right? You know how we do that, right? You've been doing it for a year, right? You know how we do it? No. I just look and go, oh, they wrote something new, and type it out. Flip to the next page. They didn't write something new. They didn't write something new. They didn't. Okay, cool. Done. On to the next one. That's my job.
I feel ya.
Need a new one.
Well, I mean, that is basically the current state of workforces for most people these days.
Yep. Well, I'm 31, and I was actually talking to my coworker about this, and actually a few other people. I think my therapist as well. I'm 31. You know, it'd be really nice if I could have a job that would offer me, health insurance.
Yeah.
And a bit more stable income. Just minor necessities. I'm not asking for much, I guess. But apparently I am, and I'm a socialist because of it. Like, I love getting that reaction. I'm a socialist for asking for basic necessities. Wonderful.
That's okay. That's
to be in 2017.
That's actually what I just tell people my political party is now.
What, socialism?
I'm like, I believe in socialism. They go, why? I'm like, well, I really liked the way Bernie talked about it. That made a lot of sense to me. Well, and that usually just shuts people up. Like, they just stop. And I'm like, there we go.
And capitalism really hasn't worked all that well with our generation.
Very true.
It hasn't. I mean, we are children of the 80s. We did not, well, except you, Shane. But we didn't grow up in that time where everyone was prospering. We grew up in the mid-90s and 2000s where, CDs and Xbox and MTV and all this other shit took over our lives. For me, mostly games.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I just say it because, like, I had this conversation with my younger brother and my cousin.
What?
Basically, they were like, so where do you stand in politics, really, right? And, my brother's, like, turning 16. My cousin's going to be a senior in high school. I'm like, honestly, I think it might be socialism. And if you read about socialism, you'll probably see a lot of things that seem confusing and or like, well, that seems kind of negative.
Yeah.
But I told him, history books are written by the winner.
Right.
And never written by the losers.
The number one argument that I have with people is socialism basically makes it so the person that's working at McAD's and the person that's a neurosurgeon, they make the same money. Mm-hmm. And it's not how it works. I'm not going to be a neurosurgeon and go to school for 10 fucking years to be a neurosurgeon so I can make $6.50 an hour.
Yeah.
That's not how it works.
Yeah.
But that's what happens when you get history written by a bunch of baby boomers who had the Red Scare burned into them, which are our parents.
Kinda. I mean, it's definitely
It is.
but at the current point in time, as I was explaining to him, things change, people grow, and the books eventually get rewritten. Bada bing, bada boom, right? I mean, also, like, I just find shit more interesting now pertaining to the world I live in. Like, for instance, we were talking about, what was it we talked about last week? There was a movies, right? We were talking about Dark Tower.
Oh yeah, we were talking about Dark Tower, and we were talking about Death Wish.
Yeah, and it's like, prospectively, right now we're talking about Dark Tower because it's already coming out, and we're like, well, Dark Tower's not doing too hot. We know this.
Right.
Yeah,
Tomatoes,
unfortunately.
right? What was the score?
Sitting at a wonderful 19% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah.
Which sucks. And, of course, it's like, people will look at this later on and be like, maybe we shouldn't try to condense 7 books into one movie.
Seriously.
Yeah.
True, but the other thing is, like, that's like a main staple in Hollywood. They wanted to do that with Harry Potter. They want to condense the first 3 books into one movie.
Which is, you can't.
Yeah, well, Chris Columbus, the first director of the first 2 films.
Yeah.
He looked at it and he's like, no, we can't do that. He's the one that came out and said, that's stupid. There's no way we can do this and it'd be successful.
Yeah. Smart guy.
And, smart guy, and, he made Warner Brothers pretty good profit, so, more power to him.
Yeah.
But, yeah, you're condensing... I don't know if they're condensing all of the books into this movie, but a good chunk of them?
Alright, so... having been reading the books enough at this point, I'm not even sure if they've condensed. And again, this is just from trailers because I still have not seen it. I'm not sure if they've condensed even like half of the. Maybe like they took elements of like the last book and then like parts of the third and the first book and jammed them together. But me and my brother, who has lended me his books, were talking about it. It's an 1.5 hour long film, which already was like
90 minutes? Are you serious?
Oh yeah, it's a short movie. So already fucking red flags, right?
Yeah.
Then we looked at the cast list, and he's read all the books. I'm halfway through book 3. I still have enough knowledge of certain characters that should be there, who are pivotal in the book, and I don't see their names, and it's already like, uh-oh, this is not this is not good. So clearly, like, that's why I'm like, I'm not even sure what this book is like distilled from. Having talked with my brother, that they're able to kind of do a movie adaptation that isn't directly following the flow of the books, isn't directly a correlate, like, this is book 1, book 2, book 3, that it can be its own entity, and, that Stephen King wrote it as a possibility, but I think that's cool, but I think it does, I don't know if that's what the consumers expected. I think they did expect pulling from the source material enough, it being an adaptation of the books. And when you're kind of scratching your head going, I don't see half the kind of important characters in this movie, shit, man, like, that's not great. that's scary. So for it to have a low rating, I want to say I'm not surprised. But I'm not surprised. I am a little crestfallen though. Yeah, because it is, finding out that we were getting a Dark Tower movie, made me want to read the books, and I'd never read them. And having, I'm still gonna read all the books. Having read the books I can see what a amazing story, it is and it can be. And I still want to go see the movie to see kind of the kind of plot holes and failures, even though I've not read all the books. I want to go see it, but it is just like, I kind of have an idea of what to expect.
Yeah. Fair enough.
And it hurts. It really does.
I mean,
This almost feels like it should not have been a movie. It should have been a series on TV.
It could have easily gotten away with it being a series on TV, but it could be too long.
Yeah, and that's because George R. R. Martin, the author of Game of Thrones, or actually the whole series really is called The Song of Ice and Fire.
Yeah.
But the TV show, he actually turned down a lot of companies that came to him saying that we want to adapt your books into movies, and he thought no, it couldn't be done. There's too much, and finally someone pitched him a series, and he's like, okay, yeah, that can probably work. And here we are later, people are freaking the fuck out with this series after 7 years, after 7 seasons.
Yeah,
so we won't talk more about that later, but yeah,
I think this is interesting though because, like I was saying before, right? Eventually, people are going to look back at this 20-something years from now, right?
Sure.
Right.
And they might actually at that point in time use it as an example of why it's sometimes hard to make movies into books, right? And that, thinking about it, the only thing I can really think that really would have made the Dark Tower easier to make into a movie is if they did it, because I've been thinking about this for a while. You could technically do it 2 books at a time, but what you do instead of basically you aim to make a 3-hour long movie,
right?
And you just kind of hit if the books at least do it where some books literally pick up where the last book ended, right?
Right.
Then you can just keep the story beats going and just push it into one long movie. In the case of Harry Potter, that's not always easy because every book's a fucking school year. You can't just continue on a school year into another one. It just doesn't feel good.
Well, I mean, with Harry Potter, it was a bit more easier because it goes from, say, July, and you probably miss a couple of weeks of what Harry was doing after he got home from Hogwarts.
Yeah.
But you go from, say, July to next May or next June, and then it stops, and then you get the next book, and it goes from there again. So intersecting around his birthday. It's always around his birthday when the book starts.
Yeah, which is nice. That's really good tool for keeping the flow between books.
Yeah, exactly. So I mean, it works, and at the same time, most of all the books had a defined end, which again helps with movies as a defined end.
Yeah,
we beat this, we did this, we found out about this. This is going to happen. So. The 4th book is probably the only book that probably ends with a oh shit moment, this is really going to happen. And that's with Voldemort coming back and the death of a student and all this other shit.
Yeah.
So, but I mean, that I think is easier. With Dark Tower, if it literally ends with a huge cliffhanger, yeah, you immediately would scrounge for the next book.
Yeah.
Which I would hate for a movie. I would hate for a movie to go, I guess we're doing this, and then boom, black.
Oh, yeah.
I hate that. I would hate that. Maze Runner kind of did that at the movies.
Definitely.
Yeah.
God, they did it aggressively.
Yeah, the second one did it. The first one did it even worse, but the second one did it, but it did it with okay, I know where we're headed with the next movie.
Definitely.
So, cool. Props.
You know what I hope for, though? Because Infinity War is going to come out, and that's a 2-parter.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
I don't want the movie to land on necessarily a cliffhanger, but
it's not.
But I want it to end on a. I want it to end on a almost turning point beat for the story.
It will.
Yeah.
I mean, from everything that I'm saying, it's gonna do that. If anything, I think it'll end with this. Well, I mean, this won't be a spoiler because it's not even out, but I think it'll end with one character holding another character's body after that character dies. Or it'll end with their funeral or something like that.
Yeah.
That's how I think it'll end. And the cool thing is, after Avengers 4, which will wrap up the Thanos stuff, Spider-Man, the next Spider-Man movie, will begin right after that.
That's awesome.
So we'll have a Peter Parker and / Spider-Man probably going through PTSD in his junior year of high school. Which will make that all the more interesting. And in between all that, hey, maybe we'll get the Venom. Who knows?
Maybe, yeah.
Yeah. So, but yeah, it should have a solidifying ending. But at the end of the Infinity War, we should not be feeling great.
Nah, it needs.
I think that's how they want to leave it.
It has to be something where it's like you want them to turn around and get back up.
Yeah.
I just think though that like I wouldn't necessarily be pissed, but I'd be really annoyed if, say, it was a really tense moment, right?
Uh-huh.
And then the movie just cuts.
Oh yeah, that would suck.
I would like strangle the person in front of me purely because I could reach them.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I forgot to mention something about movies, about watching movies. Something interesting.
What's up?
Ashley and I saw Atomic Blonde. You already know that.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
In the first 15 minutes of the movie, this older couple in front of us gets up and walks out. And
okay.
And I'm just like confused. Like it was a slightly younger-ish woman, like maybe 30s, 40s, but the older man, the man was a lot older, like in his 60s. Okay. And I was like, maybe he needs help getting up. Maybe he needs something. Maybe should have come back. Nope. After about 15 minutes, they don't come back, and Ashley's like, "Who the fuck?" I'm like, "What the hell?" And I'm like, "I don't know. I guess they didn't like the first 15 minutes of the movie, which is fine. They keep their tickets." She goes, "Yeah, but the fucking movie's called Atomic Blonde. Like, it's not like they should have known what they're getting into."
Was like the first 15 minutes really intense or something?
Kinda, yeah. It's definitely different. It's movie sets itself up to be pretty dark right away, which is nice. Okay. And good use of color.
Cool.
But yeah, that happened, and I just was like, well, you know, that will happen, people. Sometimes you will want them. Really quick, because we're talking about Marvel-ish stuff.
Yeah.
All right. Chris Pratt. Mm-hmm. A lot of people know him as kind of like he's like the good guy in the Marvel scene, like as an actor. He's really sweet, really nice. People love him, right? Goofy guy.
Right.
He was married to Anna Faris, but they've recently announced that they're getting divorced.
Right.
Now, I'm not necessarily interested in, like, oh, divorce, whatever. But what happened was, I read an article about Anna Faris because she released a book recently.
Uh-huh.
I'm actually going to look up the title real quick. But it was an autobiography, pretty much, of her life from early childhood to now. And so it was interesting because it was a very clickbaity article title where they're like, oh, the story of her, her story and their marriage and, like, the controversy, right? But what she put in it was interesting was, she was like, oh, Chris and I, we just fell out of love. Unqualified, that's the name of her book. And the interesting part is she talks about him, and she only has really nice things to say. Which was cool because when you think about it, this is actually an example of a lot of times when you don't see in people. And you forget that celebrities are people, but ironically, they were able to make really good examples of something, which is... Because I talked to Ashley, I'm like, man, she talked about how he was really nice, really sweet. They did all this stuff. He sent love letters. Like, when he was away, he wrote letters and mailed them to her. He was great doing, like... And I read all this, and I was like, damn, I want to marry him now. God, he sounds awesome. And, of course, it's like, you read that and go, so why'd they divorce? It's like, holy shit. They just grew apart. That happens.
Yeah, and with his shooting schedule of the movies he's been in lately... I would imagine he's been absent.
Yeah, but
and when you have shoot schedules for so long and you don't see the person as much, you misconnect.
Pretty much, that's the thing. It's like it's not. And granted, it's not like he didn't try, right? Like she wrote about all this nice things he did whenever he was shooting like Guardians of the Galaxy or other movies.
Yeah,
and of course, like for instance, he had that movie with Jennifer Lawrence, the space movie.
The Passengers, yeah.
Right, and they talked about how, oh, he's not here right now, he's there with Jennifer Lawrence, and then, of course, like, you see the movie, they have, like, these romance scenes, right, and how do you feel about that? And, of course, the entire thing is just, she's like, no, he was great, he was awesome, our relationship in that respect was good, but distance, and sometimes there of lack of communication just, people change.
Right.
Especially when they're not around each other. But I thought that was really cool because when you see these celebrity things, it gets messy.
Yes.
And, sometimes you find out, like, a celebrity that you do like isn't so great, or sometimes they're crappy. or the media gets their hands on it first.
Right, and that just defiles it to its own rights, or sometimes does reveal darker truths.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a little hit or miss.
I mean, granted, the book was published before they officially divorced, right?
Okay.
So it's up for her life up until that point, pretty much. But that's interesting because the media couldn't get their hands on it because she wrote a book that literally came out. I mean, I don't think the timing was more. I think it was more coincidental.
Mm-hmm.
But that is cool to see that they were able to control their divorce, that they got that autonomy. Because, like you just said, the media defiles that shit. Like when Brad and Angelina split, which was weird for a lot of people, at the breakup of the century. But it's like, you couldn't get the real story until like months later after it was just fucking all mangled.
Well, yeah, you can't get the real story. In some sense, you shouldn't get the real story because that's
it's their business,
their thing. It's their business. They got 5 kids between them. Like, let them take care of them.
Yeah.
I think what was it, Jennifer Aniston. She said something to that because she was married to Brad Pitt for a good decade, I think. Mm-hmm. And they asked her about what happened with the whole split, and she's like, I think it was during the election too, and she's like, "Are you seriously asking me about someone else's divorce?"
Yeah, right.
Like, they're going through a tragedy. By the way, there's this dumbass who wants to run for president and of the most powerful country in the fucking world, and you're asking me about these poor people going through this tragic time in their lives? Give me another question.
Yeah.
Good on her.
And that I'm like, that's classy. I like that. Like, she didn't have anything bad to say about Brad. There's probably maybe some bitterness, but at the same time, it's like there's other priorities. Right. And that's the shit I can't stand about celebrity news. It's literally a huge distraction. Like,
that's the major reason
how many people are
in the news.
Exactly. I'm like, how many people are talking about, like, whatever one of those dumb Kardashian bitches are doing? Meanwhile, our president just threatened another country with nuclear war.
Oh, God, North Korea shit. Ugh.
Oh, my God.
Not to get all political on you guys, but damn, if that was not like
It's not political. It's frightening. It's very frightening. I don't want to develop an ulcer.
Ugh.
Yeah. But
the worst.
That's what we're kind of dealing with right now, right? People and their perceptions.
Exactly.
Of shit. But it's like, that's the only reason I brought this up, was it's like, it's just nice to see something very human.
Yeah.
You know, like people being human and getting that respect. And of course, also, I'm a big Chris Pratt fan, and I'm happy to hear that he's not a jerk. In fact, actually, like I said, I'd probably date him if I was gay. He sounds kind of perfect at this point.
Yeah.
That reminds me, there was this comedian, he was on Conan, which is probably one of the only talk shows that I sort of like, except when he does video games. Because he makes fun of it. Mm-hmm. But he was talking to this actor, he's a stand-up comic, and this guy was like, he was chatting, he's like, yeah, I may be a tiny bit gay. And he said, like, it's like Chris Hemsworth, beautiful man, but like, if there was a moment between us, I'd have to think for a good 5 seconds. You know, I was like, how far am I gonna go? Mm-hmm. Which is, you know, fine. Did I tell you that Peter Holmes, you guys know P. Holmes? Yeah, stand-up comic. He has this brilliant, I think I told it to Will, he has this brilliant joke of where he's 28 days gay. Which, no, wait, not 28, 48 days gay. And he basically set up the scenario if he was somehow crashed, and the only person on the other desert island was, say, Ryan Gosling and him, and they did everything they could to survive on the island, and about the 67th night they'd be sleeping together, and they'd probably be like spooning, and then the 68th day he just let him. That's what he means by 68 days gay, which I think is hilarious. The postscript to that was, he told that same joke in Texas, deep Texas, as he put it, and there was a cowboy the entire time he was telling this joke, like a full-on cowboy. Denim, big-ass hat, and he was just kind of mean-mugging him the entire time he was telling this bit. Mm-hmm. And he gets done with the bit, and this cowboy yells at him, he goes, hey! And he's like, yes? What's wrong? It's like, what's wrong? He's like, 28 days.
28 days, he yells.
Yeah, he's like, he was mad that I let Ryan Gosling wait.
Wow.
That's
awesome.
Like, and that was deep in Texas. That was outside most of their major cities, from what he described the joke as. Look at, I'll link it to you guys. It's a pretty funny bit. Mm-hmm. But yeah, it is nice to see celebrities, taking care of what they need to take care of, and not letting media get their grubby little bitch mitts on it.
Definitely.
So, yeah. So, something I want to talk about, and they're kind of related. Mm-hmm. I do want to talk about Deadpool, because I just saw it on my list. But, you know what, let's talk about... What did you guys think of the Cable photos? Will, you're a huge Cable fan. What did you think of them?
Fan. While it is definitely not the Cable design I've grown up with and kind of have seen, gotten to play with, I do still feel like it's Cable.
Yeah.
I do get that fucking soldier boy, kind of a hard ass, definitely Scott Summers kid vibe from the look, and he still feels enough like Cable. You have the metal arm, you have the robotic eye, and then the giant ass gun that he carries with the military kind of outfit enough. I think it looks good. Had no one told me that that was Cable, I probably would guess Cable. Like, if it wasn't plastered on it, I would guess Cable on the design, because I do think it looks good. I think it'll fit. Definitely not as jacked as the Cable we've always seen, but I think that's one of those impossibilities. So you go with within the realm of possibilities, and he still looks hulky of a dude.
Yeah.
So
this is also a pretty sweet pic I just sent you guys on our chat. I can't send it on Discord chat, but it's Josh Brolin with a fan, I think.
Oh, dude! Yes!
I like that. Well, I'll post it maybe later. It's Josh Brolin, probably behind the scenes, and he's with I think a little kid dressed as Deadpool.
Yeah.
Oh, I saw that.
Yeah, it's really cool,
dude. I think he fits it.
Honestly,
yeah, he does fit it. Yeah,
Cable's whole thing, anyways, isn't being super ripped. He's like the thing that always drove me about Cable.
Mm-hmm.
It was never like the military vibe. It was never the muscles or anything like that. It was very simply a guy who saw way too much shit.
Yeah.
Like, he saw way too much shit too early. And that's what Cable... That's the vibe you need to get. I like the picture because the way he's doing the shush thing.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's Cable.
Yeah.
It's not not like a raging badass. It's not like a roided out like super soldier. No, it is a guy who's literally like, I have seen things that will make you like your hair turn white.
Right. Well, the thing is, he's seen things, and he is also a man of action, and he's a man that says, we need to get this done, it's the right thing to do.
Yeah.
And then you compare that with Wade Wilson, a.k.a. Deadpool, it's a complete 180 type of deal, And that's where the comedy, and that's why it's literally a Murtaugh's and Riggs relationship, but to the nth degree.
Oh, easily.
Oh, yeah.
It's a crazy... Riggs who can commit suicide but live through it, and a straight-laced Murtaugh without wife and kids.
Yeah. It's a Murtaugh with nothing left to lose.
Exactly, and but he still wants to be the right man for the job and be the golden boy still.
Yeah,
that's the other thing, but not be a Boy Scout.
Right. He's a very conflicted character, which makes him cool.
Right.
Yeah, you know what? I just want one scene. And the whole movie, I'll be happy. The movie can be utter shit. I just want this one scene. I just want him to get frustrated with Deadpool and just shoot him in the head and walk away.
Yes. Yeah. That'll truly show how their relationship works in a nutshell. It's just, he gets so mad.
Yeah, I just want him to shoot Deadpool 1,000 times because he's pissed. That's what I want. It's like, you motherfucker. And he just unloads a clip on him.
I mean, it'll also be interesting to see how they introduce Cable in.
Yeah,
for how they're setting it
they're
up,
also...
because they only got what two actual X-Men like for the first movie, and of course I love how he's like, man, it's like such a big house, but no one seems to be inside.
Yeah, exactly. But I know they have Cable, which everyone's raving at, but they're also getting another character, Domino.
And I've seen the shots for Domino.
Yeah.
And damn, looks fucking great.
Yeah, she looks awesome too. I love the promo shot that Ryan Reynolds put out with her, which is she's laying on a Deadpool rug, essentially, like he was skinned like a bear.
Yeah,
I thought that was kind of neat. So I mean, next year that's like that's in my top 3 of movies that I'm looking forward to.
Agreed.
I'm excited. The first Deadpool was just good. Like
it was a great surprise.
Yeah. It hit all the right notes. It did the one thing I was really hoping it would, which it made me hate Deadpool a little bit less.
Yeah,
because as cool as Deadpool is, and as great a concept as Deadpool is, Deadpool in my mind has always been this kind of like, he was first like a serious character, then he kind of became like a gag character, and then when people found out he was like a fourth wall breaking, almost living meme, he just got pushed so far, and I was like, I hate him so much.
No,
and it's cool. Like, I love that Ryan Reynolds did it right.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
I'm excited. I like this. I like the way Ryan Reynolds took the control and was like, no, it's my movie. It's not your movie.
Yeah. There was I followed this one account on Instagram called Marvel Facts. Mm-hmm. It has really interesting facts, like the Black Panther is the richest superhero character from both Marvel and DC.
Yep.
He's like net worth of $90 trillion or some shit like that. Whereas Bruce Wayne's $9 billion and Tony Stark's like $12 billion. Yeah. So it has these interesting facts of like who did what and how these characters fought these characters. My favorite fact that I read was Wolverine's biggest fear is to outlive everyone he knows, loves, and cares about, and only have Deadpool for company.
Yeah, that's hell.
I would hate that too.
Yeah, I know. It's hilarious. I also learned that Deadpool is a gigantic fan of Captain America. Like, he literally fanboys out when Captain America is around in the comics.
Yeah.
Because they're both altered by, I think, the same program.
I think so.
In the comics, at least.
Yeah. In the comics, they were... But that's the thing, like,
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, we have the movies, which is great. Some of them are great, some are shit, but some are great. So we have what we have. Which, you know what? Considering we have what we have with Marvel, I think we should be grateful.
Oh yeah, we could be in DC's shoes.
Oh yeah,
yeah. No.
DC is literally the lesson of this could have been Marvel.
It really is life lessons.
I mean, it shows you how bad it could have been.
Yeah, it really does.
So, yeah, it's bad. But I wanted to talk about. I finally beat another game off my list.
Uh-huh.
I didn't beat Doom because I did the math in my head. Okay, what's coming out? Shadow of War's coming out. I have to beat Shadow of Mordor. So I beat Shadow of Mordor, and I'm playing some of the DLC, which is fine. I like Shadow of Mordor. I like everything that Shadow of Mordor did except the end.
Okay. Oh, the final fight.
The fight. It was a quick time event. Fucking hate that. It was bullshit,
dude. It was It was such a cool game, and then that happens, and you're just like,
I know. It's like, what the fuck? I mean, you have this huge, wonderful system, and the fact that all these orcs remember you, and they all try to taunt you, and it's an awesome system. And a fucking quick time event because, quote, the character's too powerful. Fuck you.
That's pretty lame.
I mean, you got to fight the hammer.
That was lame. I hated that.
I know.
The whole last fight, I fucking hated. Everything from the hammer, the fighting the tower, and the hand, pissed me the hell off. Because they were just lame. Meanwhile, I'm strategically figuring out how to take out other war chiefs, which are far more interesting.
That's pretty
it doesn't
insulting.
Yeah, it doesn't deter me from Shadow of War.
Sure.
Yeah.
But it's just one of those things where it's like, okay, yeah, I can see you guys were rushed, but this is still bullshit. You have this fantastic game with this Nemesis system, and you pull this.
I look at it this way. The game gets A's across the board in terms of system, gameplay, UI, content, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I only give it an F in boss fights. And it's just, it's hard because you're like, man, you don't get good boss fights anymore. It's hard. Like,
no, you don't. And I've never really been a fan of boss fights. This game I don't think should have had boss fights because it never really set up boss fights. I don't consider the war chiefs or the captain as bosses.
Yeah.
As bosses. They were elements that you had to deal with, but I didn't consider them bosses. And I don't think we should have gotten a boss fight. And I don't think we should have gotten a quick time event. That was horse shit.
I think it really needed a really hard mission at the end.
Yeah, it needed some hard stealth mission, or it needed some hard fight with another war chief or two. The aggravating thing is, this game also kind of proves that it really doesn't matter how powerful you are in the game. When you get overwhelmed, you get overwhelmed.
Yeah.
So I beat the game, and then I'm in Mordor, and I'm going after this one weak war chief. It was a war chief. The problem is, when I finally get the war chief out of hiding, he's got 5 captains surrounding him that all have various weaknesses and strengths, and they all do that dumb cutscene when you interact with them. So it just takes you out of the game. So I get taken out of the game like 6 times because they all do the taunt to me. And then the bad thing about the war chief is he calls in allies. So the next thing I know, I have 60 orcs on my ass.
Jesus.
And I get killed. And it's bullshit.
Yeah, that's the one thing I hate in the game is when they all,
they swarm you.
Well, when they do that thing where they have to introduce themselves.
Yeah.
It's like, I know that Slagbag the rat fucker, I killed him 7 times. For some reason, Slagbag doesn't want to die, but fuck him.
I wish they had a button where I could interrupt the taunt and just give them the finger, or the Middle Earth equivalent of that. Just to cut their speech short and piss him off or something.
I wish if you killed them enough times, you could just insta-kill them by looking at them.
Yeah, right. But it took me 3 times to get to that war chief, and I missed a button, and instead of killing him, I branded him, so he became my property.
That's my favorite.
But I was like, alright, fine, it's cool. I'll make him start a riot with this other war chief.
Got past that point. I think that's all that mattered.
Yeah, exactly. But the funny thing is, I took out his captains kind of nonchalant. Well, not nonchalantly. I didn't have any info on them, so I didn't know what their strengths or weaknesses were. Mm-hmm. But I exploded a few things. That made a few of them pissed off because some hate pain, so they get even madder.
Yeah.
Others get frightened of it. One got frightened from those flies. You can drop these nests of big hornets or whatever. Mm. So he ran off, which is great. Another guy ran off because a beast came into the encampment. And another ran off because they were suddenly afraid of me. So I'm like, cool, that whittles the numbers down. And then I fought the war chief and finally branded him, and it's like, okay, cool. But across the board, Shadow of Mordor is a great game. But it's also that ending really pisses me off. Mm. I am gonna try and finish all the DLC though.
For sure.
Yeah, I gotta go back and do that.
Yeah. I want to talk about the sequel for a second, but I have a question for you guys. Mm. What should I play next on my list?
Well, I mean, what do you got?
So, I got Doom, which is going to take me, I feel, too long, and I feel like there's other games I should play. I have Battlefield 1, and I have Wolfenstein New Order plus its DLC.
Wolfenstein?
Yeah.
Okay. Wolfenstein's just cool.
Yeah, I think the story is a lot of fun and really good. I think you'll have a more enjoyable time. It'll feel like Doom, but I think its story is better.
Also,
so I think it'll engage you more.
Doom is fatigue. That's the problem I have with Doom. It's a great game, but it's just kind of, you have to like, oh, goddamn, I have to slide through this.
Here's the only thing about Wolfenstein that you need to know.
What?
You're probably going to want to play it twice. And the reason
Why
why
is
is because at the beginning of the game, you make a choice.
Yeah.
And that choice will affect how you go about your gameplay. And so, after you beat it the first time on whatever difficulty you want, you might want to play it on a lower difficulty just to speed through it, but just to see how that choice you make, if you make the other one, how it changes everything.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's actually a really relevant choice. Like, it's not just like... It changes the way your character kind of does certain missions, but it also changes the way your character interacts with certain people.
Yeah. It's a cool choice. It is, not to spoil too much, it is a matter of who lives and who dies. And it is very cool on how it affects the rest of the game.
And it fucking hurts.
Yeah. It's it's a good painful one.
Yeah.
Okay, fair enough. So I have... Okay, yeah, I'll go to Wolfenstein. I'm definitely going to be pre-ordering Shadow of War. I probably won't pre-order Wolfenstein. I'll wait for that one.
Sure.
Oh yeah, I did that thing we talked about, Nick.
Oh, did you end up doing that?
I canceled all my pre-orders and just put it all down on Monster High. I walked into game, dude. I really want that game, and
yeah, that's fair.
I just it was funny. I had about 2185, I think, because 2 games had 5, and then one had 1185, and that was Destiny 2.
Yeah,
and I've played a little bit of the beta, and I'm just like, if I really want to play it later, I'll just get it later.
Sure,
I don't need to get it now.
I would agree.
And all the other games too. At this point, I'm kind of like, I'll just wait. There's no reason to get them. I have a backlog of my own, but I've also just want to take it slower with games. I don't know. What was it? I played this game called Hollow Knight. You guys hear about it?
Hollow Knight's a great game.
Oh yeah, I've been watching Dodger play that. She goes back and forth on it on her streams.
Yeah.
So Corey recommended it. I started playing it a little bit. I like it. I like Metroidvania, so I might just play through that. I was like, this is just fun. It's a very simple game, and everything else. While Red Dead sequel's cool, and while God of War looks really cool, I'll look back at those closer to their releases. I'm kind of tired of looking towards games that are so far down.
Yeah.
The only one that has my interest so far is Monster Hunter. Every time fucking Capcom posts an update, I'm like, I watch it, even if it's 30 to 40 minutes. I'm like, nope, I am invested in this.
Yeah,
I feel you.
And that's how I know I actually care.
Speaking of Metroidvania games, I recently was gifted one and got a chance to play it. Game's called Sundered, and it's interesting. The kind of mythos and backstory for the world you're in is Lovecraftian in design. You are dealing with one of the elder gods, and some of the area you definitely can see where it's inspired by Lovecraftian horror. There's tentacle, one of the creatures you fight are priests, and they have a mask on, and they have cloaks, and they have a book attached to their hip. But you don't really see what's underneath the cloak until they start casting and stuff, and then you see tentacles writhing out from under them. But it's a very it's a really pretty game in terms of coloration and stylization. All the characters feel hand drawn and stuff, and it's a cool Metroidvania game, but I think it suffers from just kind of some things that I don't know if they took into consideration. I feel like they focused a lot on character designs and making the gameplay feel fluid, but kind of skimped on how it's sometimes the fun factor of the game. At the very beginning of the game, you're given you find this eldritch shard, and it gives you the power to kind of fight through and kill the kind of remnants of of the people who destroyed the world you're stuck in. A group of mercenaries called the Valkyries came in and basically destroyed this civilization, and a few of them were left to kind of take over the place, and you end up the main bosses of the three areas are these kind of remnants of the Valkyries, and in one case it's one of the Valkyries and one of the original inhabitants of the civilization you're in. But kind of where I feel like the game kind of fell apart for me was kind of how repetitive shit became. Like, where you just kind of lose your mind in playing it. You know, stuff you'd be like, oh, that's kind of cool, that's a little bit of story here and there, and oh, I'm back through slogging through enemies, and, you know, collecting enough shards to go down my skill tree, so I can have, you know, better abilities and more attack damage, and so I can go back out there and kind of slog through enemies and go find the mini boss to get an Elder Shard to choose one of 3 different endings and what I will do with it. And it's just like, it got repetitive and kind of boring. Like the first 2 areas I enjoyed. Here's another thing. First 2 areas I enjoyed. They're kind of enclosed spaces. You know, there's wall jumping, you get a double jump ability, you're kind of traversing through these kind of cave-like structures or you know, old abandoned facilities, and then you get to the 3rd area, which is a giant fucking cathedral area in an open environment, and it's massive, and there are like micro platforms everywhere, and you can just fall to your death because you're not in an enclosed space anymore. You have a few sections that are, but it just was like, oh, you jumped and you missed your ledge, or oh, you jumped and you ground pounded and you missed the platform and you basically fell to your fucking death. So good luck, or enjoy going back to the sanctuary and continuing on back through this again so you can slog through 1 million enemies. It's like, the fuck is this?
So it's just called Sundered?
Sundered. Sundered.
Yeah, I found it on Steam. It looks pretty.
It's pretty. There are elements that I like. The kind of Cthulhu mythos that the game has doesn't feel overbearing.
That's good.
Yeah, it just kind of feels like, oh yeah, I guess it kind of feels by the way, but also ingrained in the world. It doesn't feel like your typical like eldritch horror type setting.
Right. Well, I mean, that'd be a different game. I think like that kind of horror is more psychological. Like when you're done playing it, it should make you uncomfortable.
Yeah. There's a cool mix of like sci-fi and kind of normal civilization type shit going on, because the Valkyries are very much a advanced civilization. You know, they have firearms. They have a number of their troops still left over from they're kind of floating dudes called panzers, which have these like dual blades on them. There are these hulking floating dudes that will charge you to like some of their skiff-like vehicles that have like people in them with shotguns. I like that it has this kind of sci-fi element, and you know, one of the bosses you fight is an elder god, and depending on which ending you decide to go with, how you deal with the elder shards you pick up determines kind of who you fight as the final boss. There are 3 paths: the pure evil, pure good, and the neutral path.
Whew, that's a skill tree.
Oh yeah, it's big. But
yeah, I just looked at it. Holy shit.
Yeah, and in one path it gets bigger, and in the other path you just change how your abilities work. Which I think this is one thing I will praise this game for, that I think is cool. There are a total of 7 abilities you get in the game, and there are a total of 7 Elder Shards you pick up across the game.
Okay.
You can either choose to break them by burning them in the furnace, or corrupting your abilities that you have and changing how they work. So one of the first abilities you get is this shield. And if you decide to corrupt it, the shield now is able to do damage to enemies by being in too close proximity to it. You can change how some of your double jump abilities work, like you kind of become a demon, you're able to fly, your kind of grappling hook rope swing allows you to kind of like Night Stalker it a little bit, where you kind of like disappear and reappear a little bit higher. So I like that, you know, if you decide to corrupt your abilities, it does physically change how they work. But if you decide to burn them, you get new, unique abilities on your skill tree that can be pretty powerful in some cases. So I liked that element of it, where it's, you know, depending on how you want to play, you can sculpt it. But damn, if like by the time I got to the third area, I was ready not to touch the game, and I was like, that's really shitty.
Yeah, that is shitty.
And it's a game like this. With most Metroidvania games, there's a learning curve to it.
Yeah,
you know,
and knowing you like to. Well, you don't like punishing yourself in that sense, but you do like the hard, grindy games.
I do, and this was one.
And if you had a hard time with this one,
yeah, this was one I was like, oh man, I'm super excited for it, like, because I really loved the first two areas, and then they threw you into this like overly complex, massive area, and it does look beautiful, and traversing it is kind of cool, but I hate artificial difficulty. I hate that it is a design. You know.
Oh, it's difficult for like
for asinine abilities, or for asinine reasons.
Yeah.
This area is harder now because, you know, it's, you know, twice as large as the areas you've been through, or 3 times as large as the areas you've been through.
Yeah, and that's also a cheap tactic to make the game, quote, feel longer.
Yeah.
And it's not. It doesn't feel longer. It's just means you have to like die 1,000 times to get past this one fucking area.
Oh my god, yes. It's so much more like irritating, you know, making the area much larger, relying on the fact that you have to traverse it using double jumps, wall jumps, and the 2 abilities you fucking get in the area, which are basically movement tech. You know, one's a grappling hook and the other one is running up walls. Like, the fact that you have to, like, you have to get through that area, get those 2 abilities, and to get those 2 abilities, you have to fucking scale everything. You know, the fact that you're not in an enclosed area anymore, that if you miss a ledge, you'll fall to your death 90% of the time, that there are toxic clouds everywhere, that if you just casually start running through them, you'll fucking die because they'll eat you alive, because they're filled with some eldritch mess. Coupled onto that, with the fucking mobs of enemies that incessantly come at you. And it's just like...
Yeah, that's no good.
That is artificially making a game harder. Not giving me enemies that are any more different than the other ones. And there are different enemies in this area. There are like a few here and there. But just like, oh man, it will just make this game harder by throwing more at you and just making it 1,000% harder to traverse the area is stupid. And I was, you know, when I got to that point, I was ready to just break my controller. And I just was like, turn off the game. I'm going to set my controller down. I don't care to break my controller.
Set your controller down. That's an expensive controller. You don't want to break it.
Yeah, like, and then, so in the end, casually playing through the game, not like doing 100% of the game, it's about 15 hours. Mm-hmm. And you can even get all the abilities before you fight any of the main bosses in the game, which is cool. Mm. So you can basically get all the 6 or 7 unique abilities, and then decide, okay, now I'll go back and fight the bosses. It's hard, but it's doable. You don't have to get all the Eldritch shards. You know, again, there's an ending dedicated to just a neutral playthrough. I like that you can kind of play the game you want to. I 100% of the game, got one of the 3 endings. Took me about 17 hours and 2 minutes.
Okay.
I sadly don't think I'll play the other 2 endings because
they're just frustrated.
Because I know Area 3 every time will make me want to punch my monitor or break my controller or just like be so angry that I'm like yelling at the screen because of artificially creating a harder experience. Force me to be, and maybe that I just suck. So maybe I'm just being whiny about it. But I think I think there's a level of like, if you want to make an open area, make an area that's half open. Get me comfortable with understanding that there is no floor to catch me, that I can fall to my death. Give me areas before that kind of build muscle memory, and I'll treat the 3rd area like it's fucking glass or on fire or whatever. I'll play it better.
Yeah, I mean, for something like that, you don't want to throw the player like fully into it. You need to have a controlled area first that demonstrates it. So then the player is used to it, and you have a few of those, and then you launch them into that area.
Yeah, and then they're playing at a much finer pace. They're having a better enjoyment with the game. Yeah. So I think for some people they'll enjoy it, but for others, I don't think it's your cup of tea. And this was a game that for my buddies, they know the kind of games I like. It is my cup of tea up until a certain point. And then I fucking want to destroy everything. So
you think it's my cup of tea?
No. No, I don't. I think you'll be just as pissed off with Area 3. If not just frustrated by the mob of enemies that'll come after you per area.
Right.
It's
also like the fact of the other thing is they're talking about that 3rd area that you're talking about, where it's just instant death if you fall. I've seen games where they do the controlled, and they show you, hey, do this because of this, then do this because of this. Okay, here's the combine. They do everything right, and then they send you in that area where it's all that. But then they do the dick thing, and then add enemies that kind of negate what you just learned.
Yeah.
I ran into that. That
garbage.
Pisses me off.
I am thankful that the game doesn't do that, but for whatever reason, they decided to make enemies that can fire their projectiles through every wall known to man, which I think is stupid. They do give you an ability to destroy projectiles as one of your skills, but fuck you, man. That I shouldn't have to have that fear. God.
If my projectile can't go through walls, the enemy's projectiles can't go through walls.
Your one projectile weapon can go through walls, but it's not rapid fire, and it has such a kickback, and it can only fire in a straight line.
No.
Fuck you.
Then projectiles should not go through walls.
Oh my god, that is probably one of the biggest killers for me, is just literally trying to run through an area as fast as I can and not get hit by the million of projectiles or the fucking the environmental hazards in my goddamn path.
Right.
So that's kind of my feeling on Sundered. So if you were looking to get that game,
never heard of it until now, so it's not on my list. I have other games to complete.
It's a solid maybe. It has elements of fun, but then it kind of, I don't know, for me it shit on itself, and I thought that was kind of annoying. So good for that.
I wanted to talk about Shadow War, but maybe another time. They have some bullshit controversy. It's whatever. It's microtransaction crap, but I don't want to get into that debate again.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
I mean, you guys probably heard of that. Yep. The one thing I want to talk about, because it's something that I'm into. I know you guys don't watch it, but I watch Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
The thing I can't stand right now. So they had episode 4 last Sunday, and all intents and purposes, it was fantastic. It was really great, especially the end with the the huge battle and the dragon coming into the battle and just laying waste, and you see the dragon in full force.
Yeah,
it was awesome. Like just watch that, and you'll appreciate it.
Okay.
But here's the thing I can't stand. I'm a nerd. I love my fellow nerds, except when they're racist and bigoted and sexist.
Ah, yes.
And I hate them also when they become over-analyzing pieces of shit. And it seems, as I'm scrolling through either Twitter or Facebook, every one of my news outlets that are basically nerd-centric, it is over-examining everything that happened in that battle. And the effects, what people think are going to happen with the next episode. They think one of the dragons is going to die now. All this shit. And it's just like, I get it. It was phenomenal. Can we just let it be?
Nope.
But they won't let it be. It's aggravating. It's like, I'm going to unsubscribe to half this shit. Because they just, like, it's every time I scroll through it, it's like, this pops up, this pops up, this pops up. It's like, I fucking get it already. It was awesome. I was cheering at the end. We can just, like, relax. But that was the problem I have with this past episode, just everyone talking about it. When I'm still chewing it. But the other thing I want to talk about is IMDb apparently spoiled the next episode.
Really?
How'd they do that?
So, okay, you guys know how IMDb works. So, like, you go to Game of Thrones and you see the cast.
Yeah.
Right.
You can also go to a specific episode and see the cast for that episode.
Oh.
Who's going to be in it? So, a character's been gone for, I think, 3 or 4 seasons now.
Uh-huh.
Now he's back, and that was supposed to. And apparently, because there he is in the cast listing.
Huh.
That sucks.
And it's like, way to go, IMDb. I'm sure someone's getting yelled at.
Oh God! Seriously.
Yeah, but like it's weird that like that HBO and no one at HBO or the executive producers of Game of Thrones had any control over what IMDb posted like that. I mean, like, I forget what studio owns Star Trek, Paramount, I think. They, when the second one came out with Benedict Cumberbatch, he's playing Khan.
Mm-hmm.
Which I guessed right away that he was playing Khan. I don't know why. I heard a rumor. I was like, okay, that makes sense. He's going to play Khan.
Yeah.
But I remember pretty distinctly on the IMDb website with Benedict Cumberbatch, it listed him as his alias, which was John Harrison.
Oh.
They didn't list him as Khan until like a month after the movie came out.
That makes sense. But man, that's super shitty.
It's a royal fuck up at how bad that they screwed up a surprise that a thing that everyone has been wanting for like 4 seasons gets spoiled like 5 days out from the premiere of that episode.
Oh, seriously, that's such a fucking buzzkill.
Yeah. I mean, it really sucked when HBO got hacked and like they showed the parts of this past episode got put up online like 2 days before the episode premiered. So like the whole dragon battle was spoiled before it should have been seen on a big screen.
Yeah.
Actually, speaking of which, here's a weird question that just popped in my head. I think we've had this discussion before and I forget. What do you guys consider dragons?
What do I consider dragons?
Yes. 4 legs and wings?
Yeah.
Or 2 legs and wings?
4 legs and wings, 2 legs of wyvern.
Yeah.
2 legs or wyvern? 2 legs and bat wings or wyvern?
Yeah.
Okay.
I
think we had this conversation before.
4 legs and wings. We're talking dagrons. We're talking dragons. I call them dagrons because I'm a fucking idiot like that, and because I can.
Right. What do you call dogs? Doggos.
Yeah,
so.
I do. Or puppers.
I'm with Will on this
puppers.
one.
Yeah.
Like, we had this. I remember when what was it? We watched Desolation of Smog.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were talking about that then.
Yeah. And Will and I got this talk. We're like, yeah, is he? And like, I think we agreed on worm. He was kind of like a worm, almost.
Yeah.
And of course, Asher's like, no, that was a dragon. I'm like, no. We have very specific categories for this.
Yeah.
Yeah. I personally like, just look-wise, I like the dragon with 4 legs and the wings.
Right.
Yeah.
Because I feel like the dragon can do more. You know, if the dragon has its wings as its arms that kind of become pseudo legs on the ground, I feel like they're a bit more limited.
Yeah. They don't.
You know, but a dragon on the ground with 4 legs, then his front legs become deadly.
Well, all I can think of is, this is kind of going to be magic related a little bit, is something like Nico Bolas, who is an elder dragon, and imagine this like massive thing that decides to casually drape his wings, kind of linking them together as if they were like a robe or a cloak on him.
Oh, what, like Goliath in Gladiators?
Yeah. Like
I just dated myself.
Yeah, just that look of like being able to wrap his wings around him and kind of clip the talons together and just kind of look badass.
I think you just said Goliath from Gladiators. Did you mean gargoyles?
Yeah.
Yeah, my bad.
No, it's cool. I heard that and I knew what you're talking about, but I was like, what?
Yeah, no, I did too. Yeah, that look, because it's like sweet. You're not doing anything with your wings. They don't need to be up. The fact that you can just kind of wrap them around you and look menacing even without your wings up. Pretty dope.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just that was a nerd thought.
No,
oh my god,
I mean, that's kind of how I've always looked at dragons, is they have to have 4 legs and wings.
Yeah, same here.
Or at least they have to, they have to have some sort of upper body muscles, it's just for a lot of people, I guess it comes down to like how specific you want to be.
Yeah, I just typed in Game of Thrones dragons, and one of the results that came up: Game of Thrones dragons are actually wyverns. Wyverns. That's from Nerdist.
Yeah, I believe.
Yeah, there's a bunch of this. There's a bunch of forum discussions, and
I mean,
yeah.
I think the way I see dragons has been shaped by Magic the Gathering and a little bit by Monster Hunter.
Yeah, I would agree.
For me, it's been shaped by fantasy.
Yeah.
You know, by fantasy movies and books. You know, Dragonheart, which always lives close to me, even though it's cheesy. I love it.
Oh my god, Dragonheart is the best movie.
Yeah, and don't watch any of its sequels. There's like 5 of them.
Those aren't real.
Yeah, right. But yeah. So. Yeah, I consider dragons to look better and be more menacing if they have like the front paws. But yeah, that was all the Game of Thrones stuff anyway. That I want to talk about. But yeah, so oh shit, didn't get to any of my other topics, especially about the Disney bullshit.
It's something we can bring up next week.
Yeah, we can try and bring it up next week. I can maybe rewrite this, or it'll just. This list will be thrown away like all the others into my wastebasket.
I mean, unfortunately, we never have time for everything.
No, we don't. But I guess that's a good place to call it.
Yeah.
I think so, definitely.
All right. Well, thank you for listening. Please like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, subscribe on iTunes. If you're on the YouTube, please like, comment, subscribe. If you're on Facebook, maybe give us a comment or a share. If you're on the Blogspot, a comment, that'd be helpful.
Yeah, man.
Yes.
Definitely.
All the stuff.
Hell yeah.
And with that, we're out.
Yep.
Later.
Deuces, y'all.
Later days.